Hello, and welcome to the EVEEchoChamber. I've updated these numbers. Subscribers went up a little bit. I'd like to hit 1,000 at some point. Subscriber watch time went way down. You're killing me, Smalls. And the Patreon number is still what the Patreon number is. Today, let's get back to anomalous adventures with a level 4 large Blood Raider anomaly. Let's get started. I'm going to show you a slightly different way to do these sites. Normally I orbit the slowest, toughest enemy. I'm going to show you a tactic where you orbit the anomaly beacon itself. This is useful for drone ships like this ship, long-range missile ships like maybe a Caracal, and for the faster battleships, something like a Tempest or a Macarial, maybe a Nightmare. Most of the big battleships you want to just be aligned somewhere. You don't want to be orbiting, because when you orbit, you will reduce the damage of your own guns, the same way that you can speed tank enemies in a small ship by orbiting them faster than their guns can track you. When you have the big slow guns, you can lower your own damage if you orbit somebody too quickly. Drones do not have to take this into consideration, and missiles don't really have to take into consideration either. The way that missiles would get their damage reduced because of your orbit is if you are moving so much and the enemies are moving so much that you don't have enough flight time on the missiles for them to actually reach the opponent. This is just a very basic introduction to this method. My drone control range is only 40 kilometers, but if you were in a ship that was even more focused on drones, and you had perfect drone skills, you could orbit at quite a bit of range, and if your capacitor skills and MicroWarp drive skills are good enough, you could do it with that propulsion mod turned on the entire time, making you virtually invincible. This is how people in EVE Online AFK farm anomalies, using this ship, the Ishtar, which is the EVE Online equivalent of the Vexor sniper from EVEEchos. You could also do this with the Garista's faction ships, all of them, their frigate, their cruiser, and their battleship. Though with the battleship, most people use that to AFK face tank, and you don't have to bother with moving. The downside of doing it this way is that you're very far away from the wrecks and any acceleration gates that you have to activate. This leaves you susceptible to ninja looting. Somebody else could come in while you're running the site and take all of your loot because you have to stay far away to survive. When you run anomalies with this method, you're normally only doing it for bounty ticks and the occasional faction loot, so you would only be interested in looting faction wrecks, elite wrecks. Another advantage of this method, the same as any kiting fit, is that you don't have to bother with tank modules. If I wanted to, I could fill all of my low slots with damage mods. But I believe in being better safe than sorry, and I like to use the same ship for any activity that I'm interested in, which is why I don't usually use min-maxed fits like that. Anyways, back to the anomaly. Just like all of my videos, I'm putting this up as a resource for the future, so people can see what is in each wave of these sites, and they can be more confident when they want to try it themselves. Here you see me rotating the camera to eyeball this asteroid station a little bit. This is to show you that you can still run into a situation where you collide with one of these objects, which is why I don't AFK, and which is why I told you that this method is normally used for ships with much longer range, where you can orbit so far out that you're never coming near these collidable objects. For us, we don't get stopped on this one, but that was really just luck. We scraped by a kilometer or two away from colliding with it, and when you just orbit the beacon, you don't get to choose how you orbit it. You only get to choose the range, which is why you either need to pay attention or be orbiting beyond the range of anything that you might run into. Now, as the mining NPCs spawn, we know we have attained victory. We just need to kill them and then loot all the wrecks. Don't forget to loot. That would be very embarrassing. Thank you for watching. This has been the EVEEchoChamber. Fly safe.